What is going on, everybody? The scientific straw. Oh, I love this shirt. I think I'm gonna get another one without the glow, though. I think our dude would pop really well. So we're gonna do a couple of things here. I got some mail call, so we'll open that up quick. And I wanted to do an experiment. I want to see what is exactly in these guys here. So you guys have already told me that there's copper in there. So I made this video already. So we're just gonna say, well, I'll just show you. You'll see what's in there. Nothing crazy, but there are some cool shots with the microscope. All right, let's get on to mail call. So we'll go like this. We gotta switch this around. All right, a bag within a bag. What's in the bag? Another, just kidding. So it's pretty stout. Definitely got some heft to it. Let's see here. Crack this open. Gotta be gentle with it. I don't want to cut into anything I'm not supposed to. That would not be good. That would not be good. You guys are professional shippers. There's no question about that. I don't think I've got one package from anybody where I was not worried it wouldn't make it through Armageddon. Which is good. I'm just being fun. Alright. I think we have got all the tape off there. Alright. We have got some silver. Holy smokes. Alright. I think there's something else in the bag too. Okay. So this is a project. This is a project that I am helping somebody refine here. Okay. That's silver for sure. Just got wrapped up. So we've got a whole bunch of silver. 743 grams of silver. All right. What else we got? He also sent some gold that he has already encorded. So you can see here, already encorded gold. So I just have to polish this stuff off. So this stuff is going to be, need nitric. So we'll have to do a nitric bath on this one. And then we have, it looks like this already went through a nitric treatment. And we have to put it in aqua regia. So yeah, we have some fun coming up. So this is kind of like another job that somebody wants me to do for them, and the size is increasing. So I'm really excited about that. We really are going to put the silver cell to work. So I'm thinking after this run, what I'll do is I'll save some of those crystals that we made, so I can top off my solution, because it hasn't had very much run through it, and it's quite clear yet. So I'm not worried about any cross contamination or cross plating yet at this point. But if we start running batches like that, I still don't think I'd worry too much about that either. Especially if we do a good job cleaning the gold or the silver before we run it in there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So the gold looks really, really nice, the encorded stuff. I don't think we'll have any problems with the incortation. So y'all are aware, if you don't encode it right, if you put too much silver in it, it becomes much harder of a tassel to deal with, because then you have to deal with colloidal gold. It goes all over the place. It's really hard to contain. So that stuff looks like it's actually really encoded nicely just by the coloring on it. It's all very similar color. So it's got a very, the alloy looks really nice. I don't see, whiter batches of it. It's all pretty uniform. So I think he did a good job on that. Really looking forward to get that in some aquarija. So I got some fun to do this weekend. And I think we're supposed to get rain again. So yeah, it's better than snow, I will tell you that. All right, well, let's get to the video of me tackling, there we go, these guys here. So I think it's a little more, I think it's interesting, and I'll definitely be testing a lot more stuff like this. Just a little bit of sulfuric acid you're giving up, and it tells you a lot of information. What's in there, what's not in there, is it worth going after? So I think I'll be doing this a little bit more often. If you want to see all the stuff that I test that way, just put the information out there. I'm sure a lot of you guys know already what's in this stuff and what's not in this stuff. But the microscope, kind of seeing it under there, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Anyways, let's get to that experiment. All right. So with today's exploratory experiment, we're just going to check and see what is exactly in here. So I'm going to try and dissolve basically everything off of it so we can see the metals underneath there, whether it's gold or just copper. So how I'm going to do that is just with a little sulfuric acid. Alright, so we'll go ahead and dump that in there. And that may be a little too much. That's no biggie. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and set this on some heat, boil it up. I probably won't bring it to a boil, but we'll get it relatively hot. And then we can see exactly what's under there. When that's done, we'll rinse it off fairly well, and then we'll bring it up, check it out in the microscope. Alright, so let's take a peek here. What do we have? What do we have? So this was sitting, I heated it up, I didn't boil it, and I did that for about 3 hours, and then I let it sit overnight. Chunky. It looks like coffee. Definitely a good bet not to drink this stuff, though. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and try and clean this up best I can, and we'll get you back in when we can see some goods. Here, I'll get you in hand mode quick. That's what I see. Not much worth showing right now. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I still haven't figured this out yet. It's kicking my butt. So we're going to do it like this. So hopefully that works for you. At least for the time being, anyway. Let's see. I don't know if we want to go too crazy with the brightness. There we go. So, let's see. Let's go like this. So this is what we're looking at. We've got, it's fiberglass layered, so there's a couple different layers of fiberglass there, right? I was able to peel the chip off so we can see base metals under there, and then along with the back side of the chip, which is right here. So let's take a peek at that. So right here, this is the, we'll be looking at one of the layers of the fiberglass. And I don't see any metals. It's most likely copper, right? sulfuric acid, especially hot sulfuric acid, will have no problem chewing that up. So here's another layer of that. And so like some of this is tricky, right? Because that might look like something, but that's just a reflection of the water. So if I move that, you can see the reflection kind of shift. So some of that is kind of tricky. If you look right here, you can see that little bit of copper. At least that's what I'm thinking it is. All right, so let's take a look underneath the chip, right? So the sulfuric acid wasn't able to see that. All right, so like right there, we can see all of that copper. So you can notice right here, the edge of where that chip was. So this was under the chip and this was exposed to the sulfuric acid. So we know that this is copper because the rest of it was devoured. And then let's get the back side of that chip. And there's the chip. So you can see that hard edge there. So that rainbow is the chip itself. And then inside of it is the copper. So that's the two different colors you're seeing there. So I'm going to have to say that there isn't really anything in there worth going after. Now, is there a chance that there's silver in there? Of course, doing the sulfuric, heating up the sulfuric, that will dissolve the silver, turning it into silver sulfate, and then you're going to end up with all that chewed up carbon in there. So there's really no way I could have tested for that. And I don't think that would have really shown a good test with only one. But what I'm seeing here, if there's copper underneath the chip, that's probably going to be the most important thing here. There's probably not going to be anything really going after. So I'm really thinking the only metal that's worth anything on here is going to be this little bit of gold plating on here. And I can't even say it's gold plating. It's gold. It's so thin. I didn't have any extra foils hanging around in there when I was doing the cleanup. So that tells me that just kind of turned into that mud, which means there's not a whole lot on there. So I don't know if I'll be targeting these. I don't think it's worth necessarily going after these guys. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know. So here's an example of one with the film on it and then without the film. So this is what they look like on the board. And then the heatsink would be on top of that too. Right. So I think it's worth exploring a little bit of these e-waste products before we really dive into them. One being, it takes a lot of time to get this stuff, right? So, I think we want to spend our time pulling stuff off that's worth it. And I'm not sure if this is it. Even for that little gold, right? Because unless you've mastered collecting the tin, right? Excuse me. The amount of tin on there that you have to remove to safely get that gold off of there, it's quite a bit. But if you can add tin into your process, right? Collecting the tin and then and then go for that little bit of gold. It might be worth just throwing in a stock pot, but I don't even know if it's worth the effort to get it off the board, you know. Unless you're able to clear everything off the board at the same time. You know, if you're doing an acid bath or something along those lines, then I could see there being a potential just to get it while it's sitting in there, you know. But I don't think I'll be targeting these. So it was definitely worth the sulfuric acid, I'll tell you that. Then, you know, all of a sudden you get 200 grams of these, which, let's see how much one of these things weighs. Just for an estimate. Zero that out. So 2.4, 2.5. So you get up to, I'll say 100 grams to do a refining sample. That's a lot of time. And then to process them all, yeah. I think I'm going to be testing stuff off the sulfuric acid way. The only concern I have is, I mean, and I may have to try this too, is with the silver, right? I'm finding something that I know has silver in it to test to see, like, if it has silver. I know it's a weird test, but maybe I can find a temperature where we're not necessarily dissolving silver. And then we could see it. That might be worthwhile. Might be a worthwhile experiment. But I'm not sure if I'm going to go out of my way for it right now. Unless you guys want to see it. See if we can kind of come up with something like that. You know, it could be helpful. Because one, if we're trying to find gold or anything like that, and there may be silver in there, you know, we may want it for the silver content. I don't think there's silver in here, though. You know, if there was silver patch under that chip, I'd be like, oh, okay, we may be onto something. But copper under there. And I'm not a computer chip guy by any means, right? So I can only imagine that's like one of the most important connection points, right? I mean, I imagine that's where all of the processing happens, is right through that guy. So you probably want it to be a pretty good metal. But I was proven wrong. So there you go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this little bit of information was helpful for you. I'll see you in the next one.